This is Mr. Pickles. My name is your dad, and welcome to that time when you spoke about little plastic men in front of a group of people on the internet. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I paint Sarah. Turn it the other way, bro. Sarah. Now, Sarah is a part of the necron family, and apparently he likes to take the juices from people. And this is one of the reasons why I like this model, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to paint him, to show you how I paint him. Before we get into the video, make sure to click like and perhaps consider subscribing, because for every new subscriber that I get, I will have one more new subscriber. Now, of course, there's probably no reason for you to do that without watching the video, but I can tell you now, if you don't like it, there will be instructions at the end of this video what to do in case you don't like it. Now, without any further nonsense about speaking of things with words that don't work from out of my mouth, let's just get straight into painting Sarah. So as this is a necron, it is clearly one of the first types of robots that are actually allowed to be called robots when you're painting little plastic spacemen robot things. And for this, in order to create the best looking silvery robot kind of color that you could possibly make, the best thing I found is to use a black base with a dry brush of any silver over the top. This will leave dark black in the crevices, and it will leave a nice lovely silver over the top. If you want to push that contrast a bit more, you can use an oil wash or even a panel liner to do that. My necrons are gold in bronzy in kind of color, so basically I'm just going to paint a golden bronzy color. If you want to do your necrons to look like this, then you can copy exactly what I did, or you can choose a different color at this point. But all the metal bits and armory things on the model I need to paint with some kind of color that differentiates it from the robot itself. And in my case, I chose this bronze color. This is from Pro Acryl. It's one of the best colors that actually, if you want to make something golden bronzy, this is the best color hands down. It covers everything, it goes down smooth, one coat, magic stuff. I like it. I will keep buying this. In fact, if I ever need to use anything golden, I use that color no matter what. I will mix it into gold to make that gold work better. It's that magic. I'm going to go over all the armored bits, and I'm just going to make sure that I cover everything. This dude I hear really hates picnics. This is the reason he has this long stick. It's for him to be able to stab at cupcakes from a distance, and Space Marines don't like that. So this is a good reason for me to have a necron team of army men to fight my Space Marines one day when I play with myself. Because if you're going to paint things for playing these games, you probably don't have time to actually have friends to play these games with. Now, for painting the staff, I want to get that really cool, bright, green, glowy vibes thing going on. So what I'm going to do is create a really nice contrasted look, and I'm going to just spray the corners basically using the angle of the actual shapes on the sharp edges themselves. I can actually kind of mask off areas, and if I spray at a certain angle, it will give a sharp edge to those areas. You can see every time I spray near the edge how the edge itself will light up with the light highlight, but it almost, the curve stops the airbrush from catching that edge on the other side of it. And this is something you can use to your advantage if you are spraying something like that. You can see that because I'm using a very small amount of airbrush and I'm not overspraying too much, I don't actually have to mask anything. I can just do this on the fly, but I do need to obviously be careful of the overspray because that can cover up work that you'd previously done. I gave a zenithal highlight to the dude on the floor. I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified to paint this dude because he's really small. All these things are so small, and why do they have to have faces? How are you supposed to paint this? Anyway, I gave a little bit of a highlight as well to the magic thing in the middle of his hand. I don't know if it's magic. I actually have no idea what it is. I then applied that magical technical paint from Citadel, which is called Tesseract Glow, and I put this over all the whites that I had pre-painted in preparation for this technical paint. This paint, for some reason, it's fluorescent or something. I don't know what it is. It's nice, it's shiny, it looks like things are glowing, and it's a really cool paint. As long as you've got a nice gradient underneath it, it will honestly, it makes everything look good. Just use it if you can. If you need something glowing green, this is your color of paint choice, trust me. For the base, because obviously this is going with my other Space Marines, and once again I'm going to say this is the only color of magical technical paint I have for bases at the moment. I will get some more in the future, but for now my own models are going to have this color because this is my army's color base. That's how it is. I then used a transparent red to set up for the next step of giving that last glow to the, I don't know what the stuff is, but I need to give it a glow, and in order to do that I'm going to start out with a transparent red. Unfortunately, I think I forgot to record the part where I sprayed fluorescent pink, which is actually magenta fluorescence color from Vallejo. I sprayed that simply over the top of it, and because of the zenithal, it just works. It's magic. Just try it. I then used the rest of the Tesseract glow to go back into the model and paint certain little features and highlighted things and just areas that I wanted to pop with that color. I find this color has like an air of magic around it. I don't know what it is, but it glows so nicely. So if I could have one of these in every color of the rainbow, that would be fantastic. I would like that for all models in future. I then edge highlighted a load of areas using white as I usually do, and this is just because of the contrast. I really like the contrast of a white edge. To be honest though, in some cases I'll use a color like deck tan, which is not very white, but it still appears white to your eye anyway. It's just really good contrast for me, and I like that. I take washes into the base just because they settle into that nice texture that you've created before, and it's easy to just throw it all over, allow it to dry, give it a nice dry brush over, and it gives you a nice sandy, dirty-ish kind of texture. So dry brushing the base is pretty simple. I just work my way up in colors. I use a little bit of grays on the rocks and stuff. I also at this time will paint the rim of my base, and this is just because I'm going to want to do an edge highlight on the base itself, and I need to make sure that the base rim is painted already. I'm going to go now start working on that dude that is having his spirit sucked out of his brain, and I just gave him a base coat with a tan kind of color, which was just going to be his basic robes and everything. I painted his boots brown, and then I painted some of the details black, because like I said before, if you paint them black, when you start to paint over the edges, you can almost cheat a bit and not paint the full object, but the black itself gives it almost like an outline around the edge of the object. So it's a trick way to kind of paint around things that still looks good, but you don't have to put as much effort in. Hopefully you managed to pick out something in this video that helps you paint your own projects in the future. Words are really difficult lately and I'm not sure why, but I will try to figure this out and work on my words presentations in the future. I would like to say a super special thank you to my patrons for their support and assistance in keeping the lights blinding my eyeballs. Also, we got another new patron this week and I would like to thank them right now. CXRayF3D. 6XD. Thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world, and it certainly helps keep these lights blinding my eyeball. I looked into it again. I need to stop looking at the lights. Now, as you can see, my own home studio is becoming a little bit overflowing with a lot of things at the moment. So hopefully soon we'll be in the new studio, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. I will probably vlog most of the building of the studio, so if you're interested in that, make sure to leave that in the comments, in the little square box that YouTube gives you to leave words in. And if you didn't like anything you saw in the video, the best thing I can say to you, dude, please just fuck off. Now I've got to go put Sarah next to Michael and Stephen and Philip.